close-up look at all your Concho Valley High School football. This is Inside the Game. Sponsored by Mitchell Automotive Group.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday, and welcome back to KSAN's Inside the Game. I'm Griff McClellan. It's hard to believe we're now in Week 5 of the 2024 Concho Valley High School football season. We're nearly midway, in fact. But as usual, we have plenty of content. Without further ado, let's dive right in, starting with the Lakeview Chiefs, who travel to Levelland tonight. These former district opponents facing off for the third straight year, Levelland winning the last two in the series. Starting in the first quarter, Levelland drives down the field and caps off a drive with some smash-mouth football to kick off the scoring in this one. Lakeview with the ball this drives. Alviso is going to drop back, scan the field, and after a tip drill, it's going to be Levelland's ball after the interception on this play. Not much of a return on this one. The Chiefs, a few drives later in enemy territory, deep corner shot here as we see to his man back in the end zone for 6. Touchdown Chiefs. Shotgun snap for Levelland this next play. Fake handoff and a tipped interception for Lakeview. Return to around the 10-yard line. Lakeview with the ball again, and the high snap is going to lead to a play up next. Breakdown, a sack on the play, and Lakeview falls on the road again, falling to 1-4 on the season. 37-26 in the fourth quarter at last check. Wall meeting Sweetwater for the first time since back-to-back meetings 12 and 11 years ago, 2012 and 13, both of which Wall put up at least 40 or more points. Sweetwater trails Wall in the first here. Caden Ortiz rolls out and he hits Daniel Rodriguez, and he's going to get in for 6. Mustangs lead 7-6. And then Sweetwater scoring fast on special teams, not even giving our photographer a chance. But still, Jade Rodriguez takes a block punt in for 6, and the team goes wild. They're up 15-6 after the 2-point conversion. Sweetwater again. Caden again. Again, Caden this time to Colton Martinez, another 6, and they're up 21-6. After the missed conversion with literally less than 10 seconds left in the half, Landon York takes the snap, makes a read and hits Reed Robertson to put some more points on the board for Wall. They trail 21-12 at halftime. But Wall emerges victorious, coming back all the way from the dead, emerging victorious. Final score, 42-21 Hawks. We now transition over to Tahoka, where the Grape Creek Eagles saw a bounce-back win after last week. These two squads met for the first time ever Friday night, with Tahoka emerging victorious, winning by a final score of 35-14. Grape Creek falls to 1-4 on the season. Brady hosting Ingram Moore. These two meeting for the first time since only 3 years ago, 2021. Brady came in winning the last 3 and 8-1 overall against its former district opponent. Tonight it was Brady once again, this time winning by 2 scores, a pretty commanding 42-28 victory at home. We now head downtown to San Angelo Stadium, where the Central Bobcats hosted the Waco High Lions, a meeting that last occurred in back-to-back seasons in 1957 and 58. Central had won both these meetings by only 1 score. How would tonight's game go? Let's see. Kicking things off in the first quarter, we take you to some first quarter action. Christian English, squeaky, drops back, rolls to his right, and fires to phenomenon Jimmy Edwards for the first score of the game. A few drives later, Waco driving down the field and capping off this drive with a hard-fought touchdown. Central up next with the ball again. English dropping back, firing a screen pass to who else? Jimmy Edwards. Touchdown. The ensuing drive. Now with a handoff up the middle to power its way into the end zone, setting up this touchdown. One more handoff to Ricardo. Outside run. He pushes it across for the touchdown. Central up a few scores at this point and walking away with the win by a final of 37-6. Third straight win for Mark Smith and the Bobcats. Our very own Sean Torres is live at San Angelo Stadium with some post-game insight from tonight. Sean?
How's it going, everyone? This is Sean Torres with KLST Sports today, and we're at San Angelo Stadium, where we just got to watch a fun matchup. Your San Angelo Central Bobcats hosted the Waco Lions. The final score was 37-6 in a lopsided affair. Today was homecoming, so you know the fans came out early to support all the kids. The homecoming king and queen were appointed earlier before the game, and Central, they came out in that first quarter kind of slow. They had 6 points, but they did hold their opponents to 0 points in that first quarter. And in that second quarter, that's where they really got the ball moving, and they had a few scores capitalizing off turnover. And the halftime score was 16-0. And then in the second half, it was a lot of Central Bobcats, squeaky English, having a bunch of fun time out there. And again, the final score was 37-6. Your Central Bobcats defeated the Waco Lions. This has been Sean Torres here at San Angelo Stadium with KLST Sports. Thank you very much. Back to y'all.
This live shot is sponsored by AFCO Steel.
Thanks, Sean. We're now going to take a quick break, but remember, don't go anywhere because we still have a full show ahead of you tonight. Stick around for more Concho Valley football coverage. We'll be back. All right, welcome back to KSAN's Inside the Game Week 5 edition. Let's resume coverage with an all-Concho Valley showdown featuring the Mason Punchers and Cristobal Cougars. Mason came in 5-0 all-time in this series. Could Cristobal change things tonight? This one began close. Mason and Cristobal exchanging scores early, 14-13 in favor of the Punchers. But Mason pretty soon began rolling with this touchdown here, putting the Punchers up 21-13, still one-score game. Second quarter later on, Mason with the ball again and punching into the end zone again, up 28-13 at halftime. Now the Cougars try to get some points before halftime and make it a little more interesting. A little momentum here on a beautiful diving catch, but they would end up coming up short, or coming up empty in the red zone, that is. After all that, it was all Mason in the second half. Cristobal came into tonight with a little momentum after last week's shutout win on the road, but Mason silenced all that tonight on the road. Final score, 54-13, Mason. Now talk about the most highly anticipated Concho Valley rematch of the week. Miles and Ozona meeting for the third straight year after last year's 70-68 thriller won by Miles. This marked the third straight season these teams have met. Tonight's game did not disappoint. More fireworks. In a different way, though. Ozona emerges victorious at home to improve to 4-1 in the season, and Miles simultaneously falling to 4-1, pulling off an incredible double-digit comeback win for the Lions tonight, avenging last season's crushing defeat. Sonora and McCamey meeting for the first time since 1975. Former district foes going head-to-head. Series tied at 4 apiece all-time heading into tonight, and the Broncos escape with the win, cruising to a final score of 40-14 on the road at Badger Stadium. Now a clash of two 500 teams, Sterling City traveling to face Cross Plains. This is the first meeting since back-to-back meetings in 2000 and 2001, nearly a quarter of a century. The Buffaloes won both meetings back then. Tonight, that streak looks like it will continue. Cross Plains comfortably on top by 3 scores at last check, 42-18 in the fourth quarter. El Dorado hosting Harper, first meeting since 2017. Harper came in 6-0 all-time. Starting in the first quarter, El Dorado marching down the field, drawing first blood on this magnificent touchdown run by Jossie Galindo. Eagles up 7-0, 1 touchdown. Moving on, Harper trying to respond. Here's a nice little run to the outside by running back Justin Wilk. Longhorns marching into Eagles territory. A couple plays later, the Longhorns going for it on 4th down, and Wilk is denied. Ran straight into a brick wall as many Eagles combined on the play for the early stop, setting the tone early in what was set to become a defensive battle. Not long after, Eagles backed up in their own territory, but no problem as Johnny Ray Adem finds his receiver Charlie McGriffin for a huge gain. El Dorado's defense staying strong all night as this pass gets broken up nicely by the Eagles secondary, holding the Longhorns scoreless at half and ultimately go on to win by a final score of 30-13. We're taking another quick break, but stay put because we still have 6-man highlights coming up next. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back. Welcome back, folks, to Week 5 of KSAN's Inside the Game. As promised, let's delve into some 6-man action now, starting in Erie County, where the Hornets hosted the Klondike Cougars. These teams clashing for the first time since 1978 and 1979 when Klondike won both those meetings. Klondike's Kenan McGee sets the tone by almost taking it to the house on the opening kickoff to set up the Cougars' first touchdown at OK Wolfenbarger Field. Jordan Quintanilla punches it into the end zone for the Cougars' second touchdown thanks to some strong blocking. And then Quintanilla does it again on another touchdown run, and the Cougars, Hornets up again. Klondike quarterback Jake Jones connects with McGee on a long touchdown pass, making it 23-0 Cougars in the second, and Erie County falls in this matchup. Final score, 53-6. After winning last week's game in the first half, dropping 76 points, Robert Lee looked to build on some recent momentum. The Steers hit the road to take on the Sands Mustangs for the third straight year prior to 2022. The last meeting was 1981. The recently renewed rivalry saw plenty of action tonight as we're witnessing an insanely high-scoring matchup again. Sands currently on top, 74-70 as we speak in the fourth quarter. There hasn't been a 6-man team more on fire lately than the Veravest Falcons, who came soaring into tonight's matchup having won 3 straight, averaging 68 points per game and allowing only 12 in that span, outscoring their opponents by 169, 205 to 36 to be exact. Tonight, nothing new. Verabest does just that, scoring exactly, funny enough, 68 points and continuing to dominate, winning by 46 tonight. The Water Valley Wildcats looking for a bounce-back W Friday night, traveling to Rochelle for a meeting with the Hornets. This was the first meeting since 2011. It had been 13 years, and Water Valley had previously won the last 11. Tonight's score from Rochelle, make that a dozen for the Wildcats. Water Valley on the verge, winning 66-28 late. Now, we've discussed lots of reunions tonight between old foes tonight, but how about this? A 15th consecutive meeting between Blackwell and Highland. Certainly a lot of buzz surrounding this one. Highland won the last 4 heading into tonight and now lead the series 43-24-2 all time. Tonight's final 66-44 in favor of the Highland Hornets. Paint Rock hosting Menard hosting Paint Rock. Yellow Jackets coming in undefeated. Indians still looking for win number 1. Finlay Field tonight played host to our 4th and final Concho Valley matchup that hasn't happened since World War II, 1944 to be exact. Paint Rock traveled to Menard. The Yellow Jackets enter this game 2-0-1. The Indians still looking for first win at 0-4. Menard stayed ahead of the Paint Rock Indians, having a score of 52-14 at only halftime. But in the end, the Menard Yellow Jackets would come out victorious against Paint Rock. All the damage done in the first half, the final 59-14. Yellow Jackets. Now, one more Concho Valley matchup in Brant, where the Longhorns greeted the Eden Bulldogs Friday night in a matchup of former district opponents. Another rubber match. These two teams have faced for the 3rd straight season. Eden has claimed 3 of the past 4. Now, how did things look tonight? Eden enters 2-1 on the season. Brant sitting at 1-3, looking for win number 4. Brant with the ball first quarter driving. Robbins pitched back to Cole Knight for the outside score, 6-0 Longhorns early. Flash forward a few drives later, Eden with the possession. Shotgun snap for Morales, scanning, finding Avery Condarco for the corner score. The ensuing kick return, a fumble on the play, and Parker Holland is going to fall on it to retain possession. Now, the mistakes would continue to happen. Same drive, a pitch leads back to a fumble for Brant, recovered by Cole Knight. Few possessions later, Eden with the ball again. Julian Morales with the drop back, connecting over the middle with Avery for another score, 38-28 at last look. Eden now 51-38, the final. We just received that score in Brant. We have one final break, so don't leave your seat just yet. We've got one more big segment coming up, including this week's biggest headlines and a look ahead to Week 6. All that next after these messages. We now remind you all once again our Week 5 Dr. Pepper Trivia Challenge is active. Each week you can head to our website to answer questions about weekly games happening in and around the Concho Valley. Tonight's question, prior to tonight, when was the last time Sterling City faced Cross Plains? Is it A, 2001, B, 2005, C, just last year, 2023, or D, 2021? Visit our Concho Valley homepage to submit your answer. Again, our website, ConchoValleyHomepage.com, to answer this week's question for a chance at winning a $20 Walmart gift card. Now that we've covered all Friday night action across the Concho Valley, let's dive into some notable Week 6 headlines. Central grabbing another win. The Bobcats look doomed after Week 2, but seem to have found their identity after 3 straight wins. Lakeview falling again on the road, this time at the hands of Loveland. The Chiefs falling to 1-4 this season, looking to bounce back next week. Wall continuing to find its groove, this time pulling off a much more convincing win, this time able to hold on to a double-digit lead in the second half as the Hawks cruise to the 42-21 dominant road win. Craig Slaughter improves to 4-1 now in his first season as head coach. And finally, we went over it before, an all-Concho Valley showdown and an epic rematch. In case you missed it earlier, Miles and Ozona. Miles got the upper hand in 2023, winning a high-scoring thriller, 70-68. Tonight, different result. Ozona emerges victorious after overcoming a double-digit deficit, 34-28, to hand the Bulldogs their first loss this season. Week 5 is history, but looking ahead to Week 6, it's hard to believe we're reaching the midway point of the season already. A handful of teams are on bye next week, but there are still several games to mark on your calendars. Lakeview takes on Burnett on the road. TLCA San Angelo, coming off a bye week, travels to Grape Creek. TLCA San Angelo is still seeking its first win. Idaho travels to Wall. Again, Wall looking to continue its momentum. And finally, Junction hosting Rock Springs, looking to rebound after last week's loss. That's all for Inside the Game. I'm Griff McClellan. Thanks as always for joining us. And remember to stay tuned next week. Have a good night, everyone.
Catering for Inside the Game is provided by Chick-fil-A.
Inside the Game is sponsored by Mitchell Automotive Group.